The Blight, Book 2, Chapter 6, Loose Ends. The ranch came into view just before the morning started to lighten. It had been a long day wiring the house for solar, and a long night clearing out infested near Clint's place. The team was exhausted, physically and emotionally. The Xterra rolled up the driveway, slow. Aaron's eyes swept the perimeter. No smoke, no gunfire, just silence and stars overhead. The faint hum of a pump echoed near the barn. A welcome sound. He eased the Xterra to a stop. Odin appeared first, bounding down the porch steps with a low bark and a wag that was all business. Dust kicked up behind him as he circled the truck, sniffed everyone, then gave a soft woof like, "Where the hell have you been?" Tessa stepped out behind him, rifle slung, followed by Lynn and Brittany. All the women looked tired, worn thin, but Tessa's eyes locked on Aaron the moment his door opened. He stepped out slow.
"We're back."
She crossed the yard in seconds and wrapped her arms around him before he could say another word. He held her tight, forehead pressed to hers, and breathed.
"Any trouble?"
she asked, pulling back.
"Some,"
he said,
"but not here. You hold it down?"
Tessa nodded.
"It's been quiet, thank God. Odin's been patrolling. Think he's feeling better now."
The big dog huffed and sat beside her, tail sweeping the dirt. Little Scamp sat on the porch, waiting patiently.
"We found survivors,"
Aaron said, voice lowering.
"At the retirement home, nurses, about 50 residents still alive. Sarge stayed behind to help lock it down."
Tessa blinked.
50? And who's Sarge?
Yeah,
Jace cut in.
and they're holding on by duct tape and prayer. We cleared an infested wing. It was bad. They've been trapped nearly 2 weeks.
Hammer spoke up as he slung his bag over one shoulder.
Sarge is Clint's neighbor and buddy. Grizzled as hell. Kinda got the drop on me, he chuckled.
Lynn walked up and slipped her arm around Jim. Brittany crossed to Jace and gave him a tight hug.
"Glad you're back safe. The kids are sleeping."
Tessa's expression softened, but her eyes scanned the group, counting heads, reading faces. Jace set his rifle down on the porch with a sigh.
They're alive, and they're gonna need us.
Hammer was already popping the trunk.
We'll head back in a couple days. Drop supplies, reinforce the perimeter. But first, we need to talk about DHS.
Aaron nodded.
"We're pulling Sarah out, and Mia, I figure Eastgate's locked down. Now that we've got a fix on their location, we're heading down there to find them."
Tessa's breath caught.
How bad?
Aaron met her eyes, hard and clear.
"We don't know yet, but bet your ass it's not a quarantine. It's a prison."
Tessa's face tightened, then softened.
You guys get cleaned up. Get some rest. You've earned it.
The men headed inside, stripping off kits and stashing weapons. Aaron and Tessa disappeared into their room. Jace and Brittany headed downstairs. Hammer and Lynn took the guest bedroom. About 6 hours later, Aaron woke to the smell of breakfast. Tessa was already up. He could hear her in the kitchen, laughing with the girls. He smiled to himself. That laugh, the sound of her enjoying a moment of peace with the others, made this shitty apocalypse feel survivable.
"I've got my people here. We're fed, we're safe, and from the sounds of it, somewhat happy."
But he knew it wouldn't last. They'd be back in harm's way soon. Aaron rolled out of bed, staggered into the kitchen in search of his go-go juice, sweet iced tea. The women were gathered around the stove, plates being filled. When he walked in, they all looked up.
"Good morning, lady,"
he said, voice gravelly. Tessa laughed.
Morning? It's almost noon.
Aaron shrugged as he poured the tea.
"I just woke up, so it's still morning to me."
He took a long, deep drink.
"God, I'm glad we got that solar working. I can still have iced sweet tea."
From behind him came Hammer's voice.
Well, I can still have hot coffee.
He trudged toward the coffee maker like a man returning from war. Jace followed close behind, rubbing sleep from his face.
Damn.
Jace muttered.
Feels like we got hit by a truck last night.
You mean 5 trucks?
Hammer replied, grabbing a chipped mug off the rack.
I don't remember the last time I was this sore.
Brittany handed Jace a plate stacked with eggs and fried potatoes.
You want bacon too?
Hell yes.
He said with a grin.
If this is the end of the world, I'm going down full.
Lynn chuckled as she passed Hammer the creamer.
Y'all sure don't look like the badass war team who just saved 50 people.
We didn't save them. They saved themselves. They're tough old farts.
Aaron said, settling into a chair with his tea. Tessa leaned over and kissed the top of his head.
Well, you better enjoy it while it lasts.
Aaron gave her a look.
What's that supposed to mean?
She arched an eyebrow.
You think I haven't heard y'all talking about storming a federal lockdown zone?
Jace raised a hand with half a biscuit in his mouth.
We're not storming. We're investigating aggressively.
Hammer snorted.
With guns.
Everyone laughed, and for a few minutes it felt almost normal. Warm, familiar. A kitchen full of people, smells of breakfast, dogs snoring in the hallway. But beneath it all was tension, the kind that didn't fade with sleep or laughter. Aaron's smile slowly faded.
We leave tomorrow morning. Early.
Tessa's smile disappeared too.
You sure?
He nodded.
Sarah's in there. Mia too. And God knows how many others. We wait too long, we might lose the chance.
No one argued, because they all knew, after what they'd seen and what they guessed Eastgate had turned into, time was already running out. The scent of frying cornbread and strong coffee cut through the crisp morning air. Everyone was gathered around the kitchen table or milling nearby, gear close at hand, rifles leaning against chair legs, the weight of what was coming pressing in from the horizon. Aaron set down his mug and spoke up.
I've been thinking about the retirement home,
He said, eyes scanning the group.
I want to take some of the loot we got from the Dollar General run over there before we step off for Eastgate. We'll have to rally with Fireball and Sarge anyway. I don't want to meet them empty-handed.
Lynn perked up from her spot near the pantry.
Jim, we brought some of the MREs in those totes, right?
Hammer leaned back in his chair.
Yeah, I think there's about 40 in there.
Lynn smirked.
Aaron, take those too. I never told Jim, but honestly, I think they're gross.
Hammer froze, blinking.
Wait, this whole time?
She grinned, eyes playful.
Oh, sweetie, I love you. But yes, this whole time, they're gross.
The room broke into light laughter, short, genuine, a much-needed crack in the tension. Brittany chimed in next.
I'm with her. Jace, grab those cases of pancake mix too. We've got enough, and they'll need something familiar.
Jace nodded, already thinking logistics.
Okay, yeah, we've got a shitload of pancake mix. We can spare some, and those folks are literally going to be eating rats if we don't help them out.
Tessa added.
We've got a few extra Sawyer water filters, too. Let's toss a couple in. Clean water is half the battle.
Aaron looked around the room, a bit taken aback.
Thank you. Really, I'm glad we're all on the same page.
He paused, then stood.
All right, after breakfast, let's get the supplies together, load them into Hammer's truck bed, and we'll roll out. I'll radio Sarge and let him know we're bringing reinforcements. With food.
He glanced toward the small med cabinet in the corner and shook his head.
I wish we had more medical stuff to offer, but we're already stretched thin here. Food and water we can spare.
He turned to Jace.
Did we have any spare solar panels or equipment, even just to get them basic power?
Jace shook his head.
Number, we used everything getting this place running.
Aaron rubbed his jaw.
All right. I've still got my small solar generator and the folding panels. It's not much, but it'll charge radios and maybe keep a freezer alive a few days if they ration. Better than nothing. Let's write everything down,
He continued.
Don't want to forget anything when we pack.
Everyone nodded, the mood shifting. Still warm, but more focused now. Aaron glanced toward Tessa and Brittany.
You two still want to come over to the home and help out?
He already knew the answer, but he asked anyway. Tessa gave a small smile.
Yeah. Scam can stay here with Lynn and the kids. We'll take Odin. He can sniff out any parasites still hiding over there.
Brittany leaned forward, eager.
Absolutely. I'll check in with the other nurses and help put together a care plan. Maybe we can get a solid needs versus wants inventory from the residents, too.
Aaron nodded.
Good. Once we're done with that, it's Eastgate.
He finished the last bite of cornbread, stood, and grabbed the radio off the shelf.
All right, kit's ready, everyone. We're going full battle rattle for this one, no risks.
He keyed the mic. Static popped.
Fireball, Sarge. This is base camp. You got ears on?
By mid-afternoon, the ranch had shifted gears. Gone was the breakfast banter. In its place, movement, intent, tension, that silent buzz before a fight. Out in the driveway, Aaron stood beside the Xterra, checking his gear. The rig looked like something out of a war movie. The factory roof rack was loaded down now. 2 jerry cans, a high-lift jack, recovery straps, and a folded military entrenching tool. Everything lashed tight with purpose. Aaron moved down the driver's side with a checklist in hand, fingers brushing gear as he went. Muscle memory and ritual. Bug-out bag, plate carrier, M4, sidearm, med kit, comms, maps, water, rations, bolt cutters, binos, all there. Jace came out from the house next, vest on, rifle slung, jaw set. He dropped a duffel in the rear seat and shut the door with a thunk. Hammer's gray F-250 was loaded down, totes of supplies for the retirement home, cases of food and water, and his personal kit stacked tight in the bed. Tessa came out of the house carrying her AR pistol and a holstered Glock. Aaron raised an eyebrow.
You expecting trouble?
He asked. She nodded once.
Didn't you say the only gun they had over there was Hank's old M1?
Aaron shrugged.
Yeah.
Well,
she said, clicking the Glock into place.
I think we should bring a few more. You know, just in case.
Aaron chuckled.
Funny you thought of that, because I didn't.
Tessa smirked.
See? That's why I stick around. Gotta keep you on your toes.
The screen door creaked open, and Brittany stepped out, 9mm on her hip, AR-15 slung across her back, and a box in her arms.
What's in the box?
Aaron asked. She shifted her grip and answered.
When we were grabbing the pancake mix, I found this box in the barn, full of old sheets. If you don't mind, I figured we could boil them, dry them, and seal them in Ziplocs. They'll make good bandages for the residents.
Aaron blinked, impressed.
Damn good idea. I forgot that stuff was even out there. I got rid of the bed they went with years ago. No use for 'em now. Good call.
Brittany set the box down gently in the truck bed beside the rest of the gear.
They're not sterile, obviously, but it's better than nothing, especially for pressure wraps or splints.
Jace came around the side of the house just then, a duffel slung over one shoulder and a tool bag in his free hand.
Pancake mix is packed. Threw in some of that expired syrup, too. Still smells fine, so it's probably edible.
Aaron laughed.
They'll either love you or curse you for that.
Hey,
Jace grinned.
if it comes down to rat stew or maple-flavored rat stew, I'm doing them a favor.
Hammer joined them at the tailgate, tightening the last strap on the jerry cans.
Fuel's topped off. Truck's ready. We moving soon?
Aaron checked his watch, just past 1 p.m. The air still held that sharp, clean edge before the heat of the day set in.
Yeah,
He said, stepping back to get a full view of the loadout.
let's hit the road within the hour. Fireball and Sarge are probably expecting us.
He glanced toward the porch.
Tessa, you got Odin?
She whistled low. The big white dog padded over from the edge of the field, tongue lolling, tail swaying lazily behind him.
He's ready.
She said, rested, fed, and itching for something to chew on that's not a chew toy. Jace opened the passenger door, and Odin leapt in like it was routine. The truck creaked under his weight.
All right,
Aaron said, voice settling into that command tone again.
Let's do one last sweep. Grab your kits, then saddle up. Radios on Channel 3. We roll in 10.
They dispersed like muscle memory, each person moving with purpose. Tension hung just beneath the surface, but it was familiar now. An undercurrent in everything they did. No wasted motion, no assumptions. This wasn't just